Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning session. Hold on a second here while I get you my monitor. So we just had the market open, and it looks as though, as far as the overnight is concerned, it was a relatively quiet session. Yesterday's session, after we closed up, well, no, actually, I guess it did stay bullish for most of the day. I was going to say there was a little bit of profit taking, but apparently that occurred more during the overnight. So relatively strong day yesterday overall. And now we're getting a little bit of sideways action, maybe even a counter trend signal, at least here on the Eagle. The thing with these types of signals that start to come in counter trend, and we've got a short-term uptrend here, is that very often, even though they're big like this, they end up looking a lot like a bull flag. So technically our band has changed over, and we are working on a sell signal here. Come on, get up there. Don't even tempt me with this signal. The Eagle's one of the few tools where I would consider taking a signal early. Otherwise, I'm going to do my best to sit on my hands here. So what we're looking at is we're looking at this current bar possibly becoming our signal bar, in which case we would have to turn over the ATR. Now that's good news because that could make us take a position below these lows. Oh, there they go. They are going to put a signal on. Nope, can't quite squeeze it out that way. I hear another signal on the hawk. All right, let's try this instead. Nope, come on. Here we go. Okay, so now everything is coming into sync. Our ATR has turned over. We have a chance at a second push on this signal. Come on, Eric. And we're getting a macro pullback signal here in the hawk as well. So I haven't given up entirely on the bulls, but as far as a signal right out of the gate, the one here on the Eagle seems to be the most attractive. The only other reason I'm really considering doing this right out of the open is that lately the NASDAQ has been making its move of the day almost within the first few minutes. Yesterday was a little bit more of an exception though, wasn't it? Yesterday the market took about an hour to find its direction, or at least a good half hour to find its direction, and then it started plotting higher for the rest of the session. Oh, excuse me, sorry. All right, so the signal hasn't been invalidated just yet. Jim's shooting me some advanced decline numbers here. He says we got about 800 buyers, 1,700 sellers. So a little bit of a bearish tone on the start. put us at about a negative 750 or so. All right, that's gone far enough that I'm going to scrub that. Perhaps just sit on my hands for another opportunity. All right, so let's see, how long have we been in the market? Almost 10 minutes. Now we're getting a little bit more bullish. We're getting a trend change signal here to the upside. Still a little bit sideways looking. That trend line could be problematic. The other thing which is problematic is if I enter here, can I cover down there? Oh, I can. Well, actually, that doesn't look that bad. I was going to say I might be better off entering on the other side of this trend line. I do have an opportunity for a second push on this entry now, where I'm looking for the market to renew its upside momentum before bringing me in. We'll see how this works out. So a big battle now between the buyers and sellers. Oh, no, the buyers are walking away. Come on, buyers, where'd you go? Okay, so here are the buyers. If we can get this bar to finish higher, it may be time to start rolling our stop. Although yesterday I got a little bit cute with rolling my stop and stopped myself out early a couple of times. So maybe I'll hold back for 2 bars. See if we can't get right out this swing. No. Okay, well, the good news is we may have a direction now, as they definitely seem a little bit more bearish. And now we're starting to get a little first micro-macro cross signal developing down here. We've got our warning dot. Problem with this trade is, as far as the market has come down, it would not be unreasonable to expect it to retest this area here, where it initially broke down. So as it trades higher, we'd be able to get a better entry, but right now, let's see, no, it won't let me cover it back there. I'm in a position where I have to cover the trade perhaps a little bit tighter than I would like. So here's the breakdown. Now we're looking for the sellers to recommit to their position. So it's this whole test and retest thing, right? And now we're working into a macro pullback. I wouldn't like to see it drift much higher than it is here. If it starts to get into yellow bars, well, then all bets are off. Come on, sellers. Oops. Come on now. Well, at least we got it to a break-even situation, but now the big thing, of course, is will they carry it lower? Come on. Seeing some reaction here. This is low enough to be a test of the extreme. Darn it. I was going to say if they tap me out here then and go higher, then it's obviously a good place to get out. All right, we're getting a trend change signal here on the Falcon also, so this is the same type of scenario that we were just watching on the Hawk. And just as we saw on the Hawk, there's the retest. Oh, this is a big bar right here. This is a big deal, this bar. Spending a lot of time going back and forth. The buyers have control, the sellers have control. The buyers have control, the sellers have control. The better entry is below the low right here. That shows a little bit more commitment. Now, I don't talk about this very often, but because I don't want you spending your time looking at counter-trend signals. However, any major signal or the failure of any major signal could be traded the other way. So here we've got a double macro pullback signal. You could actually set it up to buy it on a failure higher. This is what we do with the red bar buy or the green bar sell, except we know those are weak signals. They tend to develop near the end of the trend. All right, well, here I can show you what this is like. Sometimes, let's see if, like here's a macro pullback signal which failed right here. Essentially, we're getting the same type of scenario, but in reverse. We had a little bit of a move to the downside. Here comes our red bar buy signal, and you can see a little bit of a pop up, and then the failure of the red bar buy and the first micro macro cross developed in the same neighborhood, which is very characteristic. Now, technically, this buy signal is counter trend, which is why another reason I don't mention this to you very often, because these signals, if we did a failed first micro macro cross or a failed macro pullback signal, they're very much counter trend signals, and therefore they don't always have that follow through that we're looking for. But I suppose it's a perk of being a room moderator. There aren't many, but one of them is I can show you stuff like this. So we can watch in safety how it plays out, if it plays out. Well, so far so good. We're actually seeing a little bit of follow through on that breakdown of the macro pullback. You see, we should have had more follow through off of this retest. Now, that's not to say we're not going to get it from here. The sellers have not lost total control of this market. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, and here they come. So this may well turn out to be a little bit more of a bear flag type formation. 1, 2, 3. We didn't. Did we get a 4-arrow consolidation on the yellow? No, we didn't. You see, this might build into a 4-arrow consolidation yet, which is another one of our signals, which is a very high probability signal. So the buyer's struggling for control here also. Let's see what the other tools are doing, because this is probably a situation where you can get a little bit of a bracket type scenario going. So here's the Raptor. The Raptor's showing this very clearly too. So we're getting a possible sell on the Raptor, and we know if this signal fails, we're going to come out of here with a buy signal. That's just how the Raptor does things. Look at all this selling that got absorbed, all this buying that got absorbed, and the market went nowhere. Okay, well this low right here, 45.42, that is the one that we really need to overcome. Wow, what a nasty tug of war this morning. Wow, they're very evenly matched. Like I said, we saw a spike here in the buying, we saw a spike in the selling. They are really, really just churning the market right now. The advanced decline dipping a little bit. Jim says we got 800 buyers, 1,900 sellers, so that's making things, giving everything a little bit more of a bearish flavor. We'll see how that plays out. Wow. All right, well, here, let's button this up for now. Crude oil, very, very sideways still. And almost surreal seeing crude oil at these prices. So we've got crude perhaps working on a hard edge sell, a green bar sell. But pretty reluctant to go anywhere. Do I have the right month? Is this thing on? I think we're still following September crude. Let me double check. Yeah, we got another week here in September. We could roll into October, but, well, actually only a few more days in September, don't we? I should roll over into the October contract. That will probably have a little bit more activity to it. I'm hoping. All right, so far, that's twice now, I guess I've tried to sell it and just haven't had the follow through on the downside. So we'll see whether we get the follow through on the upside now, because it seems obvious they don't want to go lower. It's a bit of a mess here this morning, folks. Days like today, you want to take baby steps too. You don't want to go in too heavy. You know, it's one thing to throw in a onesie here and there, maybe find yourself down a couple $100 on the day. That's okay. That's not really a loss. That's more of a rounding error. Soybeans I've been watching also, but they haven't been doing a whole lot. We are getting a trend line touch signal and a kind of a trend change signal here on the other side of the primary support. I probably would offer up a couple of ticks. Oh, there we go. Offer up a couple of ticks, enter on the other side of the low, cover just above there. But here too, the market just seems a little bit reluctant to move. There's some obvious support way down here. You can see we're slowing a little bit. We had a rather steady move lower here, a little bit of a pullback. That's okay. Shorter move lower. So size-wise, we don't really have the same momentum that we did here. That's an easy way to spot momentum. Just take a look at the size of the move and you'll immediately see when it starts to dwindle. Like if we take a look here on the Raptor. No, actually, that's not a good choice. We'll take a look here on the Eagle. So we had a lot of momentum here, decent momentum here, but notice how each subsequent move is getting shorter. And then we're really seeing a lack of momentum here. It's not able to get back to the highs. There's our retest, and now we start pushing lower. But here too, we're not seeing very much momentum lower, are we? It may be more like yesterday than I thought, where that the first hour of trading, really the market's searching for direction, and afterwards we're seeing some follow through. Unfortunately today I do need to head back to the city. I didn't get all my appointments dealt with yesterday. Oh dear, here we come again. So we're getting a trend change signal. We're getting signals across the board here to sell. We're getting a trend change signal here in the Falcon, which is looking like this. I think it would take it below that low there, however. We do have a higher or a lower swing high, which is good. We'd like to see that. Getting a comparable signal here on the Raptor. So if you're a Raptor trader, we've got our double pullback, we've got our lower swing high. We're looking for this signal to move to the downside. If it fails here and prints a buy signal, that should actually be a pretty decent buy signal. There it is right there. So let's pop in on the Raptor on the buy, and we'll see whether or not we get some follow through. The Raptor, really good about these failed signals. You get something strong like a double pullback, a double bounce here off of the hard edge, prints a sell signal, and that sell signal fails. It produces a buy signal. Now I know Jim likes to watch these, and he actually gets into them a little bit earlier. Once this yellow bar sell signal fails, I think Jim likes to take it even above here, or maybe he's even buying the hash mark, but I know he's much more aggressive on it than what I am. But it looks like we might have finally caught a trade, or at least something with a little bit of momentum to it. Come on, get up there. Just a tick away from our profit target. Let me give this a little bit of a nudge. Come on, get up there. Let's go. Let's go. The Geiger counter fairly neutral at this point, so not panicking yet about perhaps popping out of here with profit. Decent flow of buy and sell orders. There's some decent numbers here, so that's good to see. Come on, get up there. No, don't tag me at break even. You guys. So our clouds are crossing here, and those tend to be areas of support in a rallying market. Let's see if it gives us some support this time. So far, so good. That was close. Get up there. Come on, give me that first profit target. I gotta fight for every cent here today. Come on, you guys. The trade's at break even, so it's certainly not the end of the world if we get stopped here, but we're so close to our first profit target. It would be nice to bank at least one of these contracts. Come on, here, we'll give you a little nudge, a little tickle. There you go. You can do it. You can do it. Get up there. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we know where the sellers have stepped up, right? We know the sellers have stepped up right here. So let's see if we're able to hit 45.55. There we go. Let's see if we get trap some of these traders now. And we actually get some follow through. Nope. I'm watching the Geiger counter here to see whether or not we're trapping any traders, whether there's going to be a spike here in buy orders. There's a little bit of a spike right here. All the sellers, or some of the sellers who were selling from this area here, would have had their stops right where my blue dots are. So we've engaged some of those. No, they're piling it on. They're absorbing whatever buying was there, at least for the moment. Neil's asking about the double clouds that I have here on the Raptor. I'll show you that in a moment here, Neil, just when this trade closes out. And Neil, if you're not currently a member at the Raptor Trading Forum, you might want to send Adam an email. It's a closed forum. It's only available to Raptor owners and DTS owners. And the whole idea behind the forum is for members to share ideas. And this is one of the ideas that came out of the forum. Ricardo, I think it was, yes, it was Ricardo who was running a double cloud. And it's fairly easy to implement. You go to your indicators and you scroll down here to your IWDTS tools, and you're going to find one marked Raptor Cloud. So if you double click on that, you're going to end up with two Raptor Clouds in here. And Ricardo's been playing with some settings. One of the clouds are set at 8 ticks. The other cloud is set at 10. And it's a good idea to change your band colors. So what I did is where did I change them? Oh, sorry, that's the filter. Where's the other cloud? There it is. Sorry. So the other one is set at 10. And you can change your band coloring right here, because otherwise the two bands will look the same. And voila, you will have a double band. Now, what we've been observing is that very often when the market intersects the hard edge here, the signal that produces as it comes out of the hard edge tends to have a good degree of reliability to it. So here was a nice hard edge bounce off of the 8, good follow through. Another hard edge bounce off of the 8, obviously very good follow through. Here's a bounce off of the 10 with less follow through, but you get the idea. Here's a couple bounces off of the 8. Here's a crossover bounce. I'll let you follow it up on your own. Here's a nice bounce off of the 10. Here's the bounce off of the 10 again. So the forum's been great. A lot of really good participation there. People sharing their ideas, like I said, which has just been fantastic. All right, here's a late filter entry signal now in the Falcon. Now we know this tends to be a very high probability signal. I'm going to make it go one more tick. So once again, just a refresher here, the late filter entry signal occurs when your filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync. And the whole time your trend line does not change color. Very important. Your trend line stays the same color. Your filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. You generate a signal. That's called your late filter entry signal. And it looks like that's going to be a no-go. So we've had a little more follow through to the upside than the downside, but just marginally so. I'm starting to think we're just going to see this market flip-flop within this morning's range that we've established here, somewhere around 45.50. It seems to be very content. And that's pretty much where our primary support line is too, here at 45.53. I don't like to see the filter breaking up this much. You know, when it starts to look like a tartan, it's the market's vacillating. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get any decent signal coming here. Okay, so here comes the Raptor again with a buy signal. So this would be like our hard edge bounce type signal. And oh, I was just about to shoot a trend line here. I'll look to take it on the other side of the trend line. I guess not. Wow, the advanced decline holding dead steady. Jim says we got about almost 900 buyers and 1,900 sellers, so it's still sticking around that negative 1,000 mark. Not really advancing nor declining. Just taking a look at yesterday's activity once more. Yeah, the market got going a little bit earlier here, so that first hour of trading was kind of a real chop fest. Not so obvious on the Eagle, but certainly it was on the Hawk and the Falcon. And if we look at the Eagle, yeah, it's hard to get any real structure going here this morning. You know, that's about as good as any. Okay, so our Raptor trade making some progress. Get up there. Come on. Oh, whew, I thought they were going to let me hang there again. I would have had to mute my microphone. Okay, I think I'm going to get a touch more aggressive with my stop strategy now. I'm going to go with the parabolics. I'm not going to let this back up on me too much. Parabolics and the bar high low, the two most aggressive stop strategies that we have available to us. The bar high low will cover the market 2 bars back, or as many bars back as you want. 2 and 2 seems to be a decent combination. Gives the market a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. Of course, if you wanted to be more aggressive still, you could go 1 bar back, and that will take you out on the first sign of weakness, which is right here. So the bar high-low strategy, we would have just been tagged for our remaining contract. If I went with the 1 and 2, the 2 and 2 leaves us still in play. But I'll stay with the parabolics for now. One good thing about testing the waters the way we did this morning is, we tried a couple trades short and they were not cooperating. So that does open you up more to a buy scenario. It's something that I've mentioned in the room before. I don't know if I've mentioned it recently. If I have a winning trade, either to the buy side or the sell side, I'll try to favor that side for the rest of the session. Unless there's some, a clear indication that that's no longer valid. So if I've had a buy signal, I'll tend to avoid sell signals. And if I have a losing buy or sell signal, I'll tend to focus on the opposite side. So I suppose what I should have done off of that first failed sell, I should have been looking more for buying opportunities right after that. But I did give a couple of decent sell signals a run, and they just didn't have the follow through that we were looking for. So right now the buyer's making a good push, brought us back into the overnight highs, which I believe are right about here. That's the area we're contending with at the moment. Come on, you stinkers, get up there. In fact, I could cover right below that bar right there. If they fail at this point here, if the sellers force the market lower from here, I might as well capture a little extra profit. Days like today too, you tend to be a little bit, or I tend to be a little bit more aggressive on my profit targets and my stop losses. Oh, see, trade forecaster suggesting we're winding out of trend mode here. Well, it hasn't been our typical trend type situation for this first half hour or hour of trading. So we'll watch this trade finish, and then I'm afraid I'm going to have to shut up the room for today. I apologize. I could not be helped with these appointments, and unfortunately they're in the city, and I've got to be down there before 9 o'clock, so I'm going to have to run as soon as we finish up this last trade. If you are trading the rest of this session and the afternoon, I think you're going to want to be more bullish. Of course, we're running into the overnight highs, and yesterday's highs are not that far off from where we're at. I think yesterday the market topped 45.67, I think. That's on the NASDAQ, of course. All right, well, we managed to struggle back a little bit. So overall, a decent day, all things considered. But caution, definitely in order here. We're not seeing follow through, right? We're getting these breakouts. We're getting these retests. I would be a little bit more bullish than bearish, but we really need to see the buyers take it over here. If this segment of the trade fails now, the market will drift back here into this original trading zone, and we're going to end up with a rather sideways session. So be patient, keep your head, try not to chase the market around too much. It may be very happy just going sideways today. All right, you guys, a reminder that tomorrow's room is the public trading room, so I will see you at that address. And again, my apologies for ducking out a little bit early. I will make it up for you the remainder of the week. All right, you guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.